Shakur Stevenson is getting accused of ducking Gervonta Davis in clout chasing, especially now after Eddie Hearn in his recent interview he did. We're going to talk about what Eddie said in that interview. We're going to break that down. We also going to talk about what's really going on behind the scenes with Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis's team. Let's talk about all this in this video. Before we do, make sure you hit my like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's cook on it. Now, the fight that everybody in boxing is talking about is Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Now, you will hear people say, oh, we don't want to see that fight. When they announced that Tank Davis and Lomachenko's fight, they was ishing on Shakur Stevenson, saying, don't nobody want to see the Shakur Stevenson fight. Shakur is boring and he's dead and all he gonna do is run and this and that. But every day you go on social media, the fight that everybody is talking about is Shakur and Gervonta Davis. Now, of course, Shakur was getting accused of ducking Tank Davis the very next day that everybody found out that Vasil Lomachenko had pulled out of the fight. You know, it's been a million lies and a million narratives involving Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis, and mostly narratives that's making it look like that Shakur is afraid and Shakur is outpricing himself and so on and so on, right? But there's really been things happening behind the scenes, so we want to talk about that in this video. I want to break that down. I also want to play this audio, and let's talk about what Eddie Hearn had to say with the dealings that he's had with Shakur Stevenson and his team, and what his team instructed Eddie to do. Because it's been a whole lot of people saying that Shakur is ducking after they heard this interview that Eddie Hearn did. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play the audio for those who haven't heard it and let y'all hear what exactly Eddie Hearn had to say.
I don't want to say officially working on his behalf, because we're not, but we're instructed to have certain conversations around fights for him, of which is an honour. One of those is not Gervonta Davis.
If he does fight Gervonta, will Matchroom be involved in that?
Only if Shakur wants us to.
Yeah.
We're not leading those conversations. We're not in those conversations. I think we could add huge value even in that fight for Gervonta, but maybe our involvement would stop a deal.
Now, that's what everybody's in a big uproar saying, that Shakur Stevenson is ducking. And especially now that Kenny Ellis has reposted a video of Knockout Boxing TV, you know, insinuating that Shakur is ducking. And, you know, Kenny Ellis, he's reposting this, and all the Tankamaniacs, they running off saying, oh, you hear what Eddie Hearn said? He don't want to fight Tank Davis. He ducking. I told y'all he's ducking. Now, let's talk about this, because what Eddie said is he said that, you know, he was instructed by Shakur Stevenson's team to go out there, try to see if he could get a couple fights together. But those fights that was on the list wasn't Gervonta Davis. Now, why didn't they tell Eddie Hearn to go out there and see if they could get a Tank Davis fight? Let's talk about that. Well, for one, if you look at the history between Gervonta Davis and Eddie Hearn ain't never ever been able to get nowhere with negotiating with Tank Davis. Tank don't really mess with Eddie Hearn like that. Everybody knows that Gervonta Davis is the A side. Shakur has told the world a million times that, look, when Gervonta Davis's team get ready to make the fight happen, they're gonna contact us and they'll let us know. What have you heard from Leonard Ellaby a million times? Eddie Hearn, he can't ask Gervonta Davis shit. Tank Davis is the A side. When Tank get ready, these fights is gonna happen. All this is up to Tank. Tank gonna get to all these guys. So Eddie Hearn, he can't reach out to Gervonta Davis and try to make a team. When Tank's team get ready to reach out to Shakur Stevenson's team and make the fight happen, that's how it's gonna go. Straight up and down. Also, why would Shakur Stevenson tell Eddie Hearn to reach out to Gervonta Davis's team if Gervonta Davis's team already reached out to Shakur Stevenson's team? Well, let's talk about that. Because Shakur, he did an interview, a short interview on his own, and he said that somebody from Gervonta Davis's team did contact him and his team, and his team told them, we waiting on y'all, send the contract. He says they never sent the contract. We never heard nothing else from Gervonta Davis's team after that. We still haven't heard anything from them, right? Like I said, when Gervonta Davis's team get ready, they will reach out to Shakur Stevenson. It ain't no that Shakur's afraid of Tank and he ducking and clout chasing, and Tank Davis is not afraid of Shakur. Tank Davis is in the Olympics right now, scouting talent. He don't have Shakur Stevenson on his mind. It will eventually happen, but it's going to happen on Gervonta Davis's terms. Just like everybody on Tank's team continue to say. So with Kenny Ellis reposting this video, that knockout made and, calling Shakur Stevenson a duck, that's just what Kenny Ellis does. You know what I'm saying? He's doing that because he knows that all of the tankomaniacs in the media, they're going to run with this news, and he's just doing that shit to troll Shakur Stevenson. That's all. He know they ain't sent that man the contract. So like I said, it makes no sense for Shakur to say, hey, Eddie, try to get this Tank Davis fight done when we know the history. And also, Shakur Stevenson is a free agent right now. He's not signed to Eddie Hearn, right? If Gervonta Davis's team already reached out to Shakur Stevenson, why would he need to call Eddie Hearn to get another hand in the pot? Because we all know right now, while Shakur is a free agent, if that fight were to happen right now, Shakur got to go to Amazon Prime. Tank Davis, the A side. That's where Gervonta Davis fights. He got to sign a deal with the PBC if they reached out to him right now and wanted to fight. He knows that he would have to sign a 1-fight or a 2-fight deal with the PBC, and that would have to take place on Amazon Prime. Not DAZN, not Matchroom. So in that case, why would he tell Eddie Hearn again to reach out to Gervonta Davis's team? Wouldn't even make no sense. So it's funny to me how y'all always talking about Gervonta Davis at the A side, he's this and that, but then you want Shakur Stevenson's team to reach out to Gervonta Davis when anytime we hear Calvin Ford, Leonard Ellaby, or anybody, they continuously talking about Tank could reach out. It's on Tank Davis's terms. And it is on Gervonta Davis's terms. When he get ready, that's what's going to happen. But right now, I believe that they waiting for the winner of Rayo and Pitbull Cruz. Whoever that winner is, that is the fight that Gervonta Davis's team is looking at. Now, I'm not saying that's the fight that Tank Davis won't next, because I don't know. But when we hear Calvin Ford talk, we know that's what he's looking at. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight that they want. So they're waiting for the outcome. And they're waiting to see whoever wins that fight, are they going to come out of that fight healthy enough to be able to fight in November sometime? That's what I believe that's happening. Shakur Stevenson is not an option right now. And if Shakur Stevenson is an option right now, Shakur's still a free agent. So, they still can send Shakur Stevenson a contract. But stop with all of this. Oh, he ducking shit, and neither one of these fighters is ducking nobody. Straight up and down. Cut out the BS, man, and let's just let it take place. I want to see the fight tomorrow if I could. But just because I want the fight to happen right now, it don't mean nothing. We've seen this time and time again in boxing. The fight's gonna happen whenever they happen, and some of them don't never happen. It is what it is. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about all this. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know how I do. Tego talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.
Top let down, leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide.